I'll get the draft, I'm sending them the draft and I'll send it to you tomorrow.
Okay, we're gonna call this regular council meeting, Tuesday, January 21st, 2025, at 5:01 p.m. To order, request you to turn down your cell phones, roll call please.
Commissioner Edelman?
Here.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Here.
Commissioner Morris?
Here.
Commissioner Prentice? Mayor Fitzgerald?
Here, we almost had a full. Stand up for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, you want to remain standing, please?
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this evening, and we're so grateful, Lord, for your many blessings on this city. And we just would ask, Lord, that each and every resident would have plenty of heat in their house, and the cold would not be an issue. And so we just trust in you, Lord, that you provide. And we just ask wisdom on all the issues that need to be.
Invite the public to address the city council with issues, you want that now, or concern?
Sure.
Or concerns. In the interest of giving everyone time, limit your comments to 3 minutes. Keep your comments respectful, and we will not tolerate personal attacks or inappropriate language. If you are interested in making a comment, please put your name, you don't have to do that now. If you want a comment right now, you can raise your hand, just give us your name and go ahead.
Anthony Rallo, we're here from Towing Standard Service. Last meeting we were concerned about the impound service for the Greater Rockford Auto Auction. Just to give you guys some numbers, last year in 2024, we'd be, if we went through with this, be taking 66.8% of our tows for the South Beloit to another company outside of the city. If anybody's familiar with the towing industry or the law enforcement, anybody can tell you that there's more frequent accident tows than there are non-preference, motorist assist, or accidents. I was another concern, but I think I got that cleared up with the council having a revised tow agreement this week, and last week it was an approval for the Greater Rockford Auto Auction. Just like everybody to think about local businesses, that it would affect us pretty drastically, all because of one tow company.
We laid that over till this week, we'll
Yeah.
discuss it when we get to it. You may stand and put your name.
Hello, my name is Vincent Rallo. I'm from Towing Standard Service, third generation family-owned business in South Beloit. Our family has provided public and police impound towing services since 1973. With that being said, I disagree with the proposal of Greater Rockford Auto Auction providing impound services. The proposal would only benefit one company while disregarding local companies who have served this city. This is a brash proposal affecting multiple local companies based off the act of one company. Have there be consequences if a contracted company does not follow contract by contacting the PD 5 minutes from the initial call, notifying cancellation or refusal. Please look at it from a local business point of view. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else want to speak at all? Okay, moving on then. Thank you for your comments. Approval of the minutes, minutes for the regular council meeting held on January 6, 2025. Get a motion, please.
No.
No?
Those are the ones we have to leave.
Oh, we're gonna lay them over. All right,
Sorry.
get a motion to lay them over.
Motion.
Second, all in favor? Lay it over to the next meeting. Report of officers. I was on a roll there. All right, report of officers, finance for the, claims for, January 4th through 17th, 2025. Put them all up.
$517,824.36. $123,000 of that is for finishing off the payments of Rock Road for $123,000.
Motion.
Second. Grace, please, anybody, any questions on
If you guys would like, Mayor, we do have Brandon prepared to comment on the final payout for the MFT project.
So yeah, I'll keep it brief, but substantially, I talked with Steve about the project, with the amount of, issues that came up between the Hayes project, the emergency sewer on Forest Park, which was one of our MFT roadways. We had some additional mobilization and, cost tied to bringing the contractor back to the project because they worked with the schedule of Fisher Excavating, to delay the paving of Forest Park. We had a lot of undercuts, base repair on Marvin Street that were unanticipated. We actually, if you look at the budget breakdown, the line items, I believe we were about $20,000 over on undercuts. We added quite a bit of curb and gutter repair as well. Once we milled off the pavement and saw some deteriorated curbs that were holding water, we added some of those to the project as well after the fact. But we did come in under on quite a few pay items as well. So even with the added, roughly $35,000 to $40,000 to the contract, we were still within, I believe it was $9,000 of the original contract. So overall, we felt it was a successful project, had some hiccups along the way, but we felt that Rock Road substantially performed their job pretty well, and we want to get this closed out on the city's books, IDOT's books. Following the approval of the pay application today, I'll be working with the city staff to get some final IDOT paperwork submitted to close that out on their end as well.
So this is final payment, it's not
Final.
after this.
Correct, not for the MFT project, which if you recall is Marvin Street, Glenwood Avenue, Forest Park Boulevard, and then Perry Avenue. We are still working through closeouts for the Hayes and Forest Park Sewer project, so.
This is probably a question for, I don't know, the officer reports, but I drove down Perry yesterday and I noticed they've already, the water company's already had to dig up and. Did you go down Hayes? Place? Yeah, I went down Hayes too, the same thing. What the hell happened?
Water main break on,
Right after the pavement was laid.
So-
We just
Yeah.
talked about that.
Yep.
On Hayes, did you guys talk to Illinois American Water?
We have. So this was something that after their first break, and honestly during the project of Hayes, they had concerns that their infrastructure was aging. They said we would have appreciated more of a heads up that the city was doing this project, so we could have made some repairs beforehand. If you recall, the discussions on whether or not we were gonna do this project carried into the spring of this year. And it, honestly, aside from having an adopted, 5-year road plan or selecting the roads multiple years in advance, I really don't see a way around this. We have an open line of communication with Illinois American Water. Anytime a project is selected, just like this coming up year, we will send them our information, tell them if they have any repairs that they can complete, they'll, please do that in conjunction with our project. Unfortunately, the way they budget and plan for projects, it doesn't give them much leeway to try to shift some dollars around to, at least that's what we're being told. It doesn't give them adequate time to plan for projects. So,
Well,
What do we gotta do to hold them to a higher standard to repair the road that they fix? I mean, there's.
Well, they will.
and we already have. We've talked with them about that, and it was actually a suggestion of their contractor completing the work that said, hey, City of Rockford on new roadways, when we have to tear into them, they up their level of standard that they expect. So we asked them to mirror that. For instance, if there's say a 5x5 patch on the roadway, we're actually asking them to extend that all the way to the center line of the road to try to limit the amount of new seams. We are also asking them to crack seal any new pavement patches to prevent water from getting in, freezing, and deteriorating. But beyond that, and resurfacing, honestly, the entire roadway, I don't know if there's much that we can do. Our team in-house, we've talked about some solutions. If we ever do reconstruction projects again, one of the things that we could do is actually allow the first lift of pavement to remain throughout the course of the winter and then that following spring. And if there's, water main breaks, any repairs that need to be done, they can be done, and then we can pave the first lift or the last final surface course lift in the following year. But that's obviously gonna keep contracts open for, a period of 2 years, but that is an option that we can do. Now, if there's storm sewer, in the areas. Thankfully, over there, we don't have storm sewer, it just drains towards the creek. But if there's storm sewer, leaving the pavement down presents an issue because then you're gonna have, standing water, before the final lift gets, completed. But we do have some options, and I know staff is gonna be working on, coming up with at least a 5-year road recommendation. We're gonna work with Steve, Brian, we're gonna work with you to try to get something.
No, but the problem is not they cut into it, because our scheduling and their scheduling are not making. The problem is, once they patch it, they don't patch it right. And then 6 months later, or a year later, we're go down 8th Street. You go down 8th Street, it's like going down a roller coaster. And the thing of it is, we want them to come in, when they get it done, whatever it is, 6 months, a year later, if that thing goes like this, they're coming in and fixing it again.
Yep.
And that's what we wanna do, that's all we're understanding. We're not gonna say that we're gonna try to coordinate our road work with theirs, because it never works. We know that, Northwestern's a prime example. So from now on, we're just make it in our contracts, whenever we do that, if they cut into our, later on, we go and check it, that's it.
Yeah, but look at the contractor that did the sewer on, Lathrop.
I didn't see it.
When you drive Lathrop.
Is it okay or what?
No,
No.
when they made them people redo their sewer lines, you look at the sewer, and that's what we contracted out.
Well, we gotta do it, that's what I'm saying, and I don't care whoever cuts into our roads, gotta be responsible for it later on.
Yep, and thankfully now, Shauna does a great job tracking down permits. That's been historically an issue where Illinois American Water's contractors are not securing right-of-way permits and excavation permits with us. Their new contractor, Stenstrup, is great about at least letting us know when they have emergency work, turning in permits after the fact. So we do have a log of all the areas that they are working, and that can be something that I work with Shauna, Steve, and we can do follow-up inspections, a year later, and see what type of settlement
Well,
issues we have. And
we got all our public works people here, we got our public works, we got our fire department, police department, and the code department, that go on these streets all the time. And all they have to do is call up and say, hey, there's a guy being cut in the street over at Goodhue or something? Okay, then we got it right away, instead of waiting until after they're done digging and all this stuff. So just be proactive on it more than just reactive, and that's what we're doing, we're reacting instead of telling them, hey, this is the way it's gonna be.
Yep.
And, all right,
So yeah, we gotta pay bills, $517,824.36.
Tracy?
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, attorney's report. No report, thank you. Okay, Sonia, you wanna give us a
For
report?
staff reports, Mayor, we're going to, ask that you just circle back to us at the end of the agenda. Don does have a finance quarterly report, but we wanna respect the time for the committee of the whole meeting tonight. That will start at 6:30 sharp at the wastewater treatment plant. So Don is prepared to, double up at our February 3rd meeting if need, or if we have time at the end of this meeting, you can make that call now.
All right, now we'll set that back a little ways here. Don't let me forget it. All right, now we go to new business, we'll discuss, or no, go to motion items. Discuss approve resolution 6576, approve an intergovernmental agreement with the Winnebago County for fire dispatch, and, let's get a motion first. Second. All right. You
So I
want-
can brief you on this, Mayor.
Yeah.
Basically, this has been a couple of months in the real hard workings. I know that Chief Griffin spent, every bit of a year trying to coordinate details, and we're really at the finish line now. To give everyone a brief history, basically, we are trying to switch from Mercy so that all of our dispatching for police and fire are both under the Winnebago County umbrella. So with that, there will be some financial savings, but primarily this eliminates the need to transfer emergency calls, which provides our public safety, frontline ample amount of security when you're all of a sudden getting better information, all of a sudden not having to transfer a dispatch call, all of a sudden just talking to one person the whole time. So this is primarily a safety thing. It's primarily intended to not only help our staff, but to provide a better quality service to our residents and the people who call. But Chief is prepared to talk a little bit about the finish line if needed. The county is expected to approve this at the county meeting on the 13th. We have a soft tentative start date of February 24th. The Winber Sioux Fire Department is also going to switch on that same day. And a couple of meetings ago, you guys approved the agreement with Rockton to share Rockton's line. So we won't have our own designated line, we'll be sharing with Rockton, in terms of how the county talks to our departments. But anything I'm missing, chief?
No, we're hoping to go live with this around the 24th of February. We are working on all the appropriate paperwork and dispatching and how we want everything set up for us with dispatch right now. So myself and Chief Keith are working on putting that together on responses and auto aids and things like that. The things that we can't do with the current dispatching through Mercy, we can now with Winnebago. So it should be an all-around better process on the front side of the emergency calls.
So it's a good thing that you guys will both know everything that's going on between the two.
It will, we do a professional dispatching center that is doing a lot right now to improve themselves and trying to go to mirror what we're doing up in Rock County per se, with single channels that everybody's on, so everybody knows what everybody's doing. It's easier to communicate, faster and more efficient. It allows us to utilize a CAD system as well, so we have computers in the vehicles. Better note taking, multiple ways to get those notes now with the some of the apps, with the computers, verbally. The dispatching through Mercy isn't set up like a professional dispatching center. It's just enough to get by. So we foresee a lot better information coming down the pipe and faster dispatch times. Though probably the lagging calls is is pretty much on the dispatch side of transferring calls. So that would be eliminated going to Winnebago.
Any question? Okay, Tracy, please.
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, discuss approve ordinance 2833, approving the variance in required front yard setback from 60 feet down to 4 feet for the property commonly known as 621 Blackhawk Boulevard, Southwood, Illinois, Winnebago County, PIN number 0405-351-006. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Sonia. Or Shauna, you.
So, this is for, like you said, a variance for 621 Blackhawk. The applicants came to the city asking for the variance. Their property is a residential property. It has always been a residential property, but it's one of those funny zoned, parcels that's commercial. So the front yard setback is 60 feet. It's not the normal, regular, residential, 30 feet. So they asked for a variance for down to 4 feet. They needed, a disability ramp for, the property owner, just came down with a really significant, health issue. So that was their ask, and that was approved by or recommended by the PCC.
Yeah, I see that.
Does it do them any benefit to change them to residential versus being zoned commercial? I mean, is it something we can just take care of? Entire block is commercial.
Yep.
That's messed up.
Any questions? Tracy, please.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, discuss approve, resolution 6587, approving the purchase of a Kubota M7060 HDC 12 utility cab tractor with a street department. Get a motion, please.
So
Second.
Okay, Steve, this must be yours.
Yep, this is, gonna replace, 1981 or 82 Ford, that didn't even make it out of the shop last year. We fixed it probably 3 times, and every time we turned around, we just had another issue with it. So, I went up and got some bids through, Johnson Tractor, and we actually knocked it down this time. The first bid was $49,496, and this one is, $48,017. Because we changed the tires that were on it. They had a full-fledged ag tire, which we don't really need when we're mowing ditches and stuff. We just need a normal tractor lug. So that kicked the price down even farther for us, and this is on, our CIP. So,
Just budgeted?
yes.
Okay.
You didn't get any other bids for it?
This is actually a Sourcewell bid. Cause they went through the state recommended bid process, so.
Sounds good. Okay, Tracy, please.
Commissioner Morse?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, stuff's approved, resolution 6588, approving the purchase of a new 2025 Ford Police Interceptor SUV squad car for the police department at a cost not to exceed $47,615. Your motion, please.
So move. Second.
This is our normal fire chief, you want to?
Yeah, we're looking to purchase one squad car for 2025. I looked at partnering with one of the local dealerships where they couldn't offer state bids, so we went back to Curry Motors, who has a state bid, to keep the cost down. The only thing I see on here is that it has the contract prices on the front page. This would be for a hybrid, so we don't want the hybrid, which takes off $2,661. But then with the different add-ons, the total price is $95 more at a total price of $47,710. So I just asked that we change that. And know that that's just the purchase of the squad car only, not any type of installation, decals, or other equipment in there for it.
You're gonna order that. How long will it take you to get this?
They will start building them in April, I believe.
Okay,
So it'll be a few months.
Yeah, and then you order all the other stuff, so when it comes in, it's already.
Yep.
It's all part of the normal rotation, right?
Yep.
So the motion will change the bid, or the price on that $47,615.10,
No, $710.
$710. Oh, okay,
47,710.
47,710. All right.
So do we need to amend our motion?
Motion.
I'd like to amend the prior motion, to amend the price to $47,710.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now you want a motion to, approve it, ordinance 6588 for 2025 Ford police car for a price of $47,710. Okay, any discussion? Trace, please?
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morse?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes, okay, now down to the, approved resolution total agreement, revised total agreement with, police department, get a motion.
So move.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Well, last week we had, or about 2 weeks ago, we had a discussion on this, and this was, they wanted to, what was first brought to the council was, for Rockford to do all our auction, to do all of our towing and that, and I didn't believe we should do that. I thought that was wrong. I thought we should keep our people that, our businesses in South White be part of the towing agreement where they would, go in order, and am I saying this wrong, Chief?
Yep, you're good.
And go in order, and they would, and the only thing I read the agreement again, and the only thing I would like to add to it, if possible, is if we have, let's say we have a towing company that turns down too many calls, or we're just, at a crucial time does not take care of us when they can, that they be put in a timeout for 30 days. That's probably not an official word for it, but I mean, I'm just saying that they would just be blackballed for 30 days or 60, whatever you decide. This would be up to you, because it's up to the police department, the fire department, and state police department to actually give us information, because we don't know what's going on, I mean, that would be okay?
Yeah, no, when you and I talked, Mayor, I was completely on board with that. Like, look, my initial intent was not to completely eliminate our local
I know.
towing companies. I was trying to come up with a solution from our previous problem, is to have that not happen again. So with this towing agreement, we take Greater Rockford Auto Auction out of the picture, but there's a couple of things in the agreement that we've changed, and it doesn't affect any of our local companies now. But it's going to allow us, my intent is to bring on one more that can handle the bigger stuff, and that's Haas. Because right now, like Tony said last time, like they don't have the equipment to handle all of our bigger stuff. And if Dewey's is not available or not willing, then we're kind of stuck, so.
But then we have problems with Dewey's turning down too many calls because they were, I don't know.
Calls, yeah.
Huh?
They were
Dewey's
turned
is
down.
down.
From time to time, they offer calls based on various reasons, so I'll, we should just leave it at that.
Is Maggio's on that list?
No.
How are they doing this call? Are you doing the call in order?
Yeah, it'll still be on the same rotating list. Yep. So if somebody gets called and they don't answer or they decline, they just move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's all okay with everybody?
Just within the rotation, just stay correct.
And if these guys, like, let's say Rallo's, they're here, let's say there's a, something big that they can't handle, they just tell you right away, right? Can't handle it,
Correct.
but it's otherwise, it goes in order and,
How does the calling on the list work? Like, how do we determine the order?
The dispatchers keep the order.
Okay.
So when we call for the next record, they automatically know who's next.
Okay, so it kind of rotates. Rollos
They-
will always
they
be
keep
first.
track of that. We don't
AJ's
keep
will
track.
always be first. Rotates.
Correct.
first in, first out.
Yep.
Okay. How does that sound? Everybody okay with that? All right.
Can I
No,
say-
we can't discuss this anymore. We're done discussing it, but this will be, you guys will get the same order. Well, yeah, that's what they said. I just heard them say that. So, Tracy?
Commissioner Edelman?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
I'm gonna abstain since I missed the last meeting, I missed this entire conversation.
All right,
Mayor Fitzgerald?
yes. Approve agreement for Craftsman with character. Motion?
Second.
Just hold on.
I can take this one, Mayor. So, I think it was 2 years ago, we were really close with South Beloit High School to being able to offer
Oh, I
a
know.
public works partnership where we could allow upperclassmen to come to our public works facilities. We asked our legal team 2 years ago to draft a waiver, if you will, kind of mirroring what we have for a ride-along waiver for our police department and our fire department, same. We updated all of that. We had an opening that came up at the last minute, late in December, where the South Beloit High School asked us if we could jump on to the spring semester to serve late January through May, as a public works rotation for Craftsman character. We were thrilled, to try to make it a little less, cumbersome, I would say, for our two departments. We're gonna rotate the two. So 1 week, it's usually a 2-week rotation. You'll have 2 students for about an hour and a half for the 2-week period, and then they switch. 2 other students for 2 weeks for an hour and a half each day rotation. We're gonna have them go to streets 1 week and wastewater the second, and that way Jeff and Steve kind of, have a week on, week off with students. But it's an hour and a half Monday through Friday, and it does exclude any days that they have, they do this in partnership with the Lincoln Academy. Any days that the Lincoln Academy has off, or any days that South Beloit has off, or any days that, between the two, they need to meet, all those days get taken off the calendar. So it's late January through May, but a lot of days come off the calendar. And tomorrow morning, actually, Steve and Jeff have a breakfast, where they've been invited at 8:30 to go and try to get more details, meet the other, I think there's 6 companies that do it each semester. It's a really great program. Anytime that you can get high school students into, your city and kind of have an inside view at how departments run, it helps with recruitment. So we have done this in many other departments, and now Public Works is gonna jump on the bandwagon and get some experience with our high school students locally. It's a win-win.
I can talk to you a little bit about Craftsman of Character. One of the things, my wife does this through her job. It's pretty labor intensive, so immediately I wanted to make sure that Steve and Jeff had, the bandwidth to handle it. They assured me that they do. I just wanna make sure that you guys understand what you're getting into. It's a great program, but, understand that there's gonna be a lot of work involved with it.
Yeah, and one thing you brought up, that I didn't touch on was transportation. You
Mhm.
mentioned that in this particular case, they're driving, they're picking students. We don't do any of that. South Beloit High School does all of that. They get them to our doors, and it's an hour and a half commitment.
Nothing but
A lot of that.
in there.
I really do think so, but yeah, slightly different than what they're having to go through.
It's because of the location where she's at versus here. I mean,
Yeah.
solid waste, small towns, so that's
But
fine.
I did verify, we will not have to do, any kind of transportation up there, no matter what.
We get a motion yet?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else?
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Commissioner Aielman?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes. Approve, rate increase for legal services with Sanowski Zito LLP. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
This here is, just like a yearly raise with everybody. Somebody gets a little notch up and, much more you can say about it.
So, go ahead, Brian.
Are we ever gonna go out for bids for stuff like this? You know, I think we should go out for bids. I'm not saying they're doing a
No.
bad job, I'm just saying, you
No, I know.
don't know what.
The only problem I see with going out for bid on something like this is, once you change, if you change lawyers' firms in the middle of something, trying to catch up from what you got going and what you know, it's always, it seems to be I'm just a devil advocate on that, I'm just saying that's why, you know.
Well, when's their term up?
What?
I thought it was a yearly term.
It is a yearly term. And when it
That's what I'm
comes,
saying.
when this group comes up for election, it'll be the same thing. Everybody's gets their vote in there, or gets, reelected, or reaffirmed, so. I don't know, you wanna bring that up?
I tend to agree with Brian that we should put this out at some point for bid. My concern then becomes, you know, we're putting out some bids, so then how much of a reset does Mrs. Nowski charge us, right? They could seemingly increase the rate exponentially. I believe we're getting a good rate. I mean, what we're talking about here, hourly rate for general business, you know, whatever services, it's going from $150 to $157.50. Litigation, same thing. Traffic and DUI representation, same thing. Labor and employment, it's going up $11.25 per hour. Special taxing districts, TIPs, business districts, and SSAs, another $11.25 per hour. So yes, we're approving we're voting to approve an increase. It's not an astronomical increase, and I still believe we're getting a decent rate. But I don't disagree with you, Brian.
Yeah,
At some
we're
point,
voting on
this
it
will
now.
go out for bid.
Just an hourly increase, if you wanna bring that up, bring it up, and, we'll talk about it, but right now, we're just voting on an incremental increase, and that's it.
It's roughly 5% across the board.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's all we're voting on now, I mean, you, like I say, if you wanna bring that up, put it on a agenda, and we'll talk about it next meeting or the meeting after, whatever we wanna do. Okay? Alright.
Commissioner Morris?
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice?
Yes.
Commissioner Aielman?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
No.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes. Approve employment agreement with the city administrator Sonia Hoppy. Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
This is just, same thing. It's, reaffirming,
Is this different from the other employees?
from another
We
one.
don't do it for Adam or Steve or Sean or anybody else, or Tracy. I don't even know why
I can comment if you'd like, Mayor.
Go ahead.
So my position was created with an agreement. It's been 2 years since it was revised. There is a change in this agreement from the last. Not a change that I recommended or asked for. I didn't ask for this contract to be re-upped. But the mayor asked our legal team to compare our agreement, with neighboring communities, and the change that's in here is a monthly, vehicle reimbursement, stipend, if you will, for $200 a month. And other than that, there's no other changes in the agreement. But my position has always had a contract. It hasn't been re-upped for 2 years. and the mayor asked,
Yeah,
because
well-
it had been 2 years.
What have you been doing, and you haven't
You
done
guys
mileage
know.
reimbursement at all?
No. There have been times where if I go to IML, if I go a long distance out of town, I do turn in mileage. This is not for mileage. Normally I don't submit my mileage. Today I went to Rockford for a PSAP meeting. I generally make all those trips in my personal vehicle, and that was the one difference that Roxanne highlighted, that most administrators have a city vehicle to use. If we're not gonna make a city vehicle available, she recommended, I think actually a higher dollar amount.
Yeah,
The mayor
I-
suggested this number.
I said no to that, but, it's when you, use your own vehicle as business, you should get reimbursed for it, no matter what, whomever. And, I know I did when I was working all the time, and I believe that's only fair. And, so, I should put it on there. And you got a motion and a second, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Tracy.
Commissioner Prentice,
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald.
Yes. Approve the revised job offer for Fire Inspector James Griffin. Get a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is Jim come back, huh?
Yeah, and I can speak to this one too, Mayor. So Jim Griffin has been with us for, I think, 9 years now, 8 or 9 years. He has never asked for an increase. Recently, he was making as little as $12 an hour. We've since adjusted him to 15. And now that he's really on the eve of retiring in 2025, he is begging us to pay him more. He suggests that at least $20 an hour is really what it's gonna take to get anybody with any fire background at all, fire science 1, 2, or any kind of knowledge of the industry, to be able to replace him. He wants to try to get somebody else in, so that when he leaves, he can leave his work behind to someone. I did some calling around, and actually our legal team asked that I find out exactly what our part-time police officers make and probably match that. So that's what you have in the offer letter, is $24 an hour. I also found out from the city of Beloit, the way that they do it is they start at 24. If you have fire science 1, that gives you $3 more, starting out to 27. If you have fire science 2, that gets you to 27, another $3 increase. So Jim obviously has all of those. He has for decades. We've really been getting away. I think without this, it's a good opportunity to correct him. I wish we would have done it sooner, but this is an adjustment so that he can help try to recruit a replacement for him. He works about 10 hours a week on average.
Yeah, I see that on payroll.
And really, I didn't do a call around on this one. I just talked to Commissioner Morris, and he said absolutely, positively, put it on there. We'll talk about it as a group, but yeah, 24 is the right number.
Somebody's good retirement job. All right, Trace,
Commissioner Edelman,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice,
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald.
yes, approve hiring, Jada Adams as office assistant for, City Hall. This is for replacement of our retiring Karen. Get a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
I can speak briefly about Jada. Tracy, chime in if I've missed anything. She is coming with about 10 years' experience from Rock County, so she's very familiar with the sensitivity and professionalism required in a municipal office and the exchange of documents and information. So that was probably our most exciting attribute that she brought to the table. We had a lot of applicants for this, a lot, and she was our second interview, and we both kind of just knew that she really is going to be a great addition to this team. So she's already working away, got her drug screen scheduled and a handful of different background things. But yeah, we would love to get her in here as soon as possible. Our staff upstairs is working without 11 years of knowledge, and we want to try to replace that with year-end things, figuring out how to do sewer billing, and just kind of being short during this Tyler Technologies transition has been painful. So we are proud of this. We weren't willing to lower the bar at all. We needed to raise the bar. I think every single hire has made us better, and this is no different. I missed anything, Tracy? Nope.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Prentice,
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman.
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald.
Yes, okay, Don, we'll give you 2 minutes.
Okay, turn to page,
When you go over 3, we're gonna raise our hand.
oh, all right, well, you don't have to shut me off because I get too far. If you turn to page 5, basically what you have here are the cash basis financial statements. These will be adjusted for expenses that we that have been incurred that will be paid, like even tonight. So, they're continual adjustments until getting ready for the audit to convert